All right, welcome to your theory unit on piano harmony. Not just piano harmony, but harmonizing music in general. You might come up with a little melody of your choosing that you want to put chords to. Maybe you want to have a guitar player strum some chords along, or you want to orchestrate something for a whole band. That's what we're going to start doing now. And this short little lesson, is going to be on how to write piano style harmony. So assuming you have a piano player and you want them to play certain chords, here's generally how they would play it. All right, so real quick read. Imagine now we have to apply our knowledge about chords and harmony to a more modern setting, and we've been asked to write a piano part for a song. We're going to show you an example using just simple chord progression like this. So notice you've got a C chord to an F chord to a G7 to a C chord. So we need to fill in this space with music. And the most basic way to do that is like this, the way you see below here. Now, they've chosen to start the music. First of all, a few conventions. All right? Generally, not always, but generally, when you have a piano player playing chords, a generic chord structure, they are playing the root of the chord in their left hand as sort of the quote-unquote bass line. Right? Not always, but generally, bass players, bass guitar players, tuba players, bari sax players are often playing the root note of whatever chord is happening at any given time. So a C chord is here, C in the bass. F chord for that bar, F in the bass. G7 chord, G in the bass, and C chord at the end, C in the bass. The right hand is simply playing the triad, or the harmony that goes with that chord. So a C chord is happening, they're playing a C chord. Here they happen to be in a first inversion of the chord, of the triad, but it's the exact same thing. It doesn't matter if they instead of playing the C up here, they played the middle C down here and just played their snowman. They're just choosing to play a different inversion of the triad, but it doesn't matter. It's the same chord, as you know. So they're playing the C chord here for that first bar, and then they're moving to an F chord, but notice what the left hand is doing. Okay, it's keeping that C note exactly where it is, and just taking these two notes and bringing them up a step into an F chord. All right, so they're playing, now we're in a root position, F chord, and then going to a G7 chord, look what they do. They keep this F note steady, because this F note is the seventh of this G7 chord. They'll take this A and C, move them each up a step, to become B and D, and those are the third and fifth of your triad. The root of this G7 chord is, of course, the note G, which is on that second line, which the right hand isn't playing, but that's okay because the right hand is right down here. The G note, the root, is in the bass line. So they don't have to put all four notes of the G7 chord in the right hand because the root is taken care of down here. They can focus on the third, the fifth, and the seventh of the chord just in the right hand. They're also doing it in such an inversion so that they don't have to do big awkward jumps with the piano. The piano's playing F, A, C here. They can just move their fingers to F, B, D instead of having to take this shape and move it 4 notes over or 5 notes over. It sounds a lot smoother when they keep the notes generally in the same section like this. And the two little bullet points here basically talk about what I just talked about. It says generally there are 3 notes for the right hand, and the bass note goes in the left hand. Generally, that's the way it works. Also make sure that your notes in the right hand are not spaced more than an octave apart, as it will be very difficult to play. You don't want to have a big wide range, like an E down here and this G way up on top of the staff. The spread would just be too much for most people to play with one hand. All right. Yeah, so let's carry on to one example here. I'll get you started on this one, and then maybe talk about what's going on the next page as well. It says, add block chord harmony to the following phrase with 2 chords per bar. Well, if we have a look at the convention of what's going on up here, C, F, G7 to C, right? Down here, we're basically using the same chords, but just in a different order. C to F to C to G7. So you can decide how you're going to voice this piano part. Go with the conventions first. The left hand, the bass line, generally plays the bass notes, and the right hand plays generally three notes per chord or per triad, all right? So to start off, let's begin first with the left hand. The left hand should be the easiest part of this to do, right? The left hand being the bass notes, right? We're going to start with C, so we need a C here, and we'll generally use half notes as well. Okay, we need Fs here, so now you can decide if you want to go up. If you want to go up to the fourth line F or down to the bottom, the space below the staff F. It's completely up to you. I'm going to go up to the fourth line F just because. Notice how I'm putting the stems down because I'm now on the upper half of the staff. So because notes are up here, I'm going stems down. C, I'll go back to my bottom space C here. Let me get a pen. That'll do. And then G7, I can go up again or down. This time I'll go down. There. Okay. So the bass line done, and now I can simply insert my right hand chords. Remember, they don't all have to be in root position. All right. In fact, it's advisable that you don't put all these chords in root position, and I'll show you why. If you have a triad in root position here, let's say you've got, let me just, sorry. Okay, let me just use the pointer here. If I have a C here, E, and G, C, E, G, I'm using the bottom part of the staff here in root position. If I then go to an F root position chord, my root is up here, and I'm going F, A, C. I'm doing an awkward jump from down here all the way to up here. I don't want to do that. If I use my root position C, E, G, and I have to go to an F chord, I might as well keep this C here on the middle C note, and just take my E note, move it up to an F, take my G note, move it up to an A, and then I've got C, F, A. I've got what is a second inversion F chord, right? But that way, my right hand isn't doing a big jump from this part of the keyboard all the way up to this part of the keyboard. My hand can stay generally in the same position. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm choosing to do this. Root position C chord. And now to move to an F, I'm going to keep this C here. I'm going to keep the continuity as much as I can. And I'm going to play an F, which is the root of my triad. There's the third of my triad, the A note, and then my fifth is right here, this C that was carried over. So hopefully that makes sense, all right? Instead of doing, and I'll just do this in blue, from a root position here to a root position F chord would be this, right? The jump is just a little, it's doable, but it's just not probably the most comfortable thing for a piano player to do. So I'll carry on with this. Whoops, I'll use red still. I'll carry on with this second inversion F chord. And when I go back to a C, I might as well just go back to the original version that I had, right? I'll go back to the root position C chord. C, E, G. And now G7. How do I move easily to a G7 chord? Well, think of what notes are in the G7 chord. There's my root down here, G, B, D, and the seventh is the F, F. So B, D, and F are the three notes that I'm missing. How can I quickly go from these notes to B, D, F? Well, I've got a D right in the middle there. I've got an F right in the middle of the old triad that I just played as well. And the B, where's the closest B to here? Well, it's this guy right there, okay? So there are the upper notes of my G7 chord. And that can certainly work. It keeps my right hand in the same spot on the keyboard. And it allows me to play it very, very easily, right? So that's how I would easily harmonize the chord progression C, F, C, G7. All right, so I did that one with you. Let's turn over to the next page just so I can give you a few tips and tricks. All right, here we go. So everything applies here just like it did before. We're just simply in a new key signature. Now we're working in B flat major. You've got B flat for 2 bars, then to an F7 to a B flat. So you can decide how that works. Maybe in the first bar you'll want one inversion of the triad. Then in the second bar you might want to change the inversion, and then go to the F7 and then back to the B flat. For working in a minor key, just like this guy here, notice we're in the key of D minor, 1 flat. Your reaction is to say F major, but here you can see clearly that they want you to work in D minor. So a D minor triad going to a G minor triad. Now notice how this 5 chord is an A7, okay, a major triad. The reason it's major is because in this triad, the third of the triad is raised a half step out of the key signature. The third of an A triad in the key of D minor is the raised 7th scale degree. All right, and I'll just quickly show you what it is right now. And you can do this on your own certainly. But let's say I have the A in the bass clef. My other notes that I need are, of course, C, which is the 7th note. That'll be a C sharp, E, and G. So wherever I end up putting those notes here, there's a G. Actually, you know what? Let me just do this as a block chord. A, C sharp, E, G. There's an A7 chord right there. And notice how I have the middle note here raised with a C sharp. There's no C sharp in the key signature, but I need that sharp there to make this a major triad. Okay? It's also there because it's the 7th note of my D minor scale. 7th note raised because it's harmonic minor, C sharp. Anytime you have that 7th note in a minor scale, you always want to make it sharp. All right? So that's just a little trick, little tip for doing that. The rest should be self-explanatory as well. Working in A major, same deal. And then working in B minor, same deal again. B minor, E minor, B minor, F sharp 7. Here you're going to raise the 3rd note again of that F sharp 7 chord. All right? Give these a try. Again, we'll take it up in class and go to it. Have fun.